Hey folks, this is not a review of the Kershaw web blur, the purple web blur that you see here before you. I just kind of wanted to give a few thoughts on it and kind of explain why I probably won't carry this knife that often. Something about it that just kind of bugs me, and I'll explain here in a second. And just kind of, just explain why you probably won't see this knife come up very often in the future. In fact, I might even sell this knife or trade it away. Now, I really do love the overall design and comfort of the blur, and this actually was purchased from fellow YouTube member who goes by the name Patrick, Pat You Know, here on YouTube, and it really is in beautiful condition. And if he used it, he was pretty careful to sort of baby it. He took really good care of it, so it arrived to me with great lockup, wonderful condition, beautiful edge, and I was really happy with it from a looks and overall comfort standpoint. So how it fits in my hand, I think, is wonderful. I love the way the overall smoothness of the handles. I like the clip on it, which is very similar to the, if not identical, to the Kershaw Leak, which is one of my favorite pocket clips ever. I just think it's a really great design. It opens fast. It's a slick knife. I love that it can be de-assisted, so you don't have to use that torsion bar if you don't want to. This one has been de-assisted by Patrick, so it just flicks out with, just manually, like your average knife would, rather than being spring assisted. The thing that bugs me about this knife are these thumb studs, these dual thumb studs. Now, this is something that I believe is somewhat exclusive to Kershaw, and you can kind of see how they're kind of cut on the bias there. They're sort of like half thumb studs rather than being full barrels or pillars or cylindrical posts. It's like they were kind of cut, half of it off, and they've got sort of this staircased or ramped design. Now, it makes it really easy to put your thumb against it and flick the knife open, and I think that that's tremendous. Where it's kind of going off the tracks for me a bit is the overall height of them, and you can almost see when I hold it at a particular angle. I don't know if it's an optical illusion or what. I haven't actually tested it with my calipers. I don't know if it's because of the recessed portions along the edges of this web pattern here or what, but the thumb studs almost seem to ride a little bit beyond the edges of the aluminum handle. They almost seem to kind of stick out a little bit further than the material in the handle there. And the reason that that is a problem for me is because when I put this in my pocket, what I'm going to say is this might have to do with it being set to tip up, and if that's the case, then I'm willing to accept that. That's my preference. You can set this knife to tip down carry, but what I don't like about it is that when it's in my when it's in my pocket, tip up, the thumb studs almost act as a wave feature. And if you're familiar with some of Cold Steel's knives, or in fact the Emerson wave opening feature from Emerson knives, you know that means that when you pull the knife from your pocket, some portion of the blade will snag on your pocket purposely and then flick the knife open. So imagine this were in my pocket and I went to pull it out. These thumb studs will actually catch on the corner of my pocket and the knife will pull open. And so twice, right away, the first day that I had it and carried it, twice I went to take the knife from my pocket and had these little thumb studs catch on the corner of my jeans and pull the knife. And one time it went about that, came out open about that much, and then the second time it actually snapped all the way into place as it was coming out, which at first I thought was kind of funny, and then almost immediately afterward I decided that that was really annoying and not at all what I wanted the knife to do. Now, it could be a number of factors. I wear slim-fitting pants. It could be because the pockets are too tight. It could be because of the way that this particular design of handles is constructed to where these thumb studs ride out a little bit farther. It could be the way that I'm removing the knife from my pocket. It could be many different factors. Like I said, it also probably has something to do with the fact that I'm carrying tip up, which actually, gives the knife the option to even do that as it comes out of the pocket. Whereas if I were tipped down as it came out, even if the thumb studs caught, the knife would not wave open because as it's coming out of the pocket, the material from the edge of your pocket would actually force the knife to stay closed. But either way, I don't like how much these thumb studs rub and kind of scratch against my pockets as the knife goes in and out. And I found it both not only coming out of my pocket, but also as I went to place it in, these kind of hang up on both the inside of the pocket material and against the pocket itself. closer to your person. So as I go to put it in, I can feel it kind of scratching or scraping, and that's just something that I'm not going to be able to be, I'm probably not going to be able to live with it. And I tried a few different pairs of pants, a few different materials, and a few different pocket types, and I found it to be the case with all of them. I went online and read up a little bit, and I didn't really see too many people saying anything of the sort. Some people said that they thought the thumb studs were scratchy or aggressive and were tearing up their pocket, but I didn't hear anybody mentioning waving the knife open out of their pocket because of the, how far they stick out from the blade. So it might just be exclusive to this model, or it might just be, something on my end to where this is happening. And you might say, well, change it to tip down, or, grind down the thumb studs. And I'm not really interested in wearing down the thumb studs in order to get it to stop doing that, because then that would kind of affect the look of the thumb studs. And I'm not really interested in switching to tip down, because if I can, I like to carry my knives tip up. So my rationalization for my decision to probably not carry this knife very often or at all in the future is just based on the fact that I've got so many knives to choose from that there really isn't any reason to sort of compromise or go out of my way to adjust this knife in some particular way to make it, to where I'm comfortable carrying it in my pocket. There are so many other choices that if this one isn't really working for me out of the gate, rather than jump through a lot of hoops or make any adjustments to the knife that I'm not necessarily comfortable or willing to make, I'll probably just send this one along, or it might just get relegated to a drawer, and I'll just move on to something else. Ideally, and most likely, this will get traded or sold, because I'd rather see someone else enjoy this knife that isn't going to have the same issues with it that I am, and maybe try something else in its place. And that's really just what it comes down to. If a knife isn't working out for you in some way and you don't really feel like modifying it, I don't really see the need to. Just, you tried it, you didn't like it. There's thousands of other knives out there with hundreds, if not thousands, of other designs, so there isn't really any reason to waste your time or effort or money trying to make that knife perfect, unless you really want to, unless it's really something that you've kind of taken on as a personal quest or something fun. Maybe it's a project you're going to make of it. But for me, I think I'm just going to retire this knife from my collection, probably pass it on to someone else, and try something different, because I just don't have the time or the inclination to mess with it any further. So I do want to say, again, this isn't a review, I do want to say that I absolutely adore the design of the knife. I think that it is eminently comfortable. I love the just the little slight bit of jimping at the back of the blade and handle where they join there isn't too bad. I'm going to let this emergency vehicle drive by in the background. You can probably hear that siren. That's lovely. I do live next to a main thoroughfare, so some of my videos you'll probably hear that coming up now and then. But now that they've driven away, I'll get back to my point. I do find the knife comfortable. I do love that little recurve. Not always a fan of sharpening recurves, but they are very useful in slicing tasks. I love the overall blade shape. I love that 154. I think this one's CPM 154 blade steel, which is a really nice steel. I love the clip. I like the handle. The comfort, everything's great. It's just that those thumb studs rub me the wrong way. So, another long video for me where I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts and maybe give you a little bit of insight into things that factor in, to a knife for me, as far as what I like and what I want to carry and why I might decide not to carry a knife. And the Kershaw Blur, unfortunately, is one of those. So I'm going to send this guy on to greener pastures, move on and find something else that's a little bit more, comfortable for me, something I'm going to be a little bit happier with. But just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on that and let you all maybe be aware of that issue. If you think that might be something that you might run into, factor that into your purchase decision as well. And that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.